And we're back. And I'm going to blame you, Lamp Tramp. Clearly, that question was just too much. And I don't know if we had a power cut here. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen again. But yeah, it just died midstream. So apologies, folks, and Zedox, who was obviously in mid-spiel.
It's fine. I got something else to talk about in a second about the future, and then I'll probably end it up.
That was frustrating.
So do we need to put that new link back out on Twitter?
I would hope people can find it on our YouTube somewhere. But man, yeah, that's a first for us. That's going to be fun to try and stitch together into some sort of workable episode on Spotify, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It is what it is.
Because there'll be some recording of the audio where me and Chris were still talking, not realizing that. So that's
I'm still going, and then I just was like, wait, his face just looks like, what's going on?
That's going to be real interesting.
Oh, dear. We'll give everyone a couple of seconds to wind their way back in here. Yeah, really, really weird. It happens, I guess. That's a first.
I'll put something out on Twitter. Hold on.
It's a first in 2 years. Why not? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened there. Crike. I've lost my mojo. I don't know what's going on. Where are we? Let's have a look. So yeah, we were talking about the future and what they can do, and you were telling us the story, Zedox.
Yes.
Story.
The story. And so basically it kind of started with connecting how Microsoft learned from their own past and what they needed to do inside of the gaming sphere versus what they did in the music sphere. And it's something that nobody actually has talked about, and nobody talks about the failure of Zune in comparison to Game Pass. Because they're very, very similar. They are a subscription service that is for media content, for a low price. And while Zoom started, I believe it started with downloads, and it eventually went with streaming. I think you could do either one. It's the same thing that they're doing with Game Pass, but they have to be. Gaming is very particular. Gamers are very particular, and you have to be very conscious on the words that you're saying. So as you've learned that Phil has been in this role for 3.5 years, I believe now. Well, not 3.5, way more than that. Well, no, he's been 3.5 as executive VP. That he has to be very careful on the words that he is saying, because now it holds even more weight and is more important to Microsoft as a whole. And so going with the streaming stuff into the future, you have to look at what Microsoft is doing outside of gaming. You have to look at the research. So I actually did undergrad research with Microsoft, actually automated game testing. Like I did that with Microsoft. But that was a long time ago. That was undergrad. But if you look at the research that Microsoft is doing, and if you look at actually some of the products that they talked about, look at the business side. Gaming has always elevated Microsoft. And if you really want to look at it this way, gaming has contributed $20 billion contract to Microsoft. That's through HoloLens. HoloLens was a gaming project. And Satya was like, well, let's make this more generic. And so that's how you can you have this one piece in gaming, and now you can make it bigger inside of bigger Microsoft. And so another thing that they do with, let's talk about streaming. There is a technology, I forgot what it's called. It's like some remote streaming stuff that they do with businesses for HoloLens specifically to make the image looks better, make the hologram look better. And they do that literally by streaming. There is going to become a point, because HoloLens is another future thing, that at some point we will have that being a normalized glasses type of thing. I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's how Microsoft looks at it. That's how all these tech companies look at it, where you have HoloLens right now you can technically stream it. You can technically stream Xbox gaming with HoloLens. But AR is one of their futures. That's one of their mixed reality. Is one of their big pillars. And when you're going with that, you can have actual AR games or whatever, right? But then you're going to look at the quality of that, and so you can enhance that with streaming. So a lot of the technologies that Microsoft is using is not only for gaming, but it goes back to big Microsoft. And that's why Microsoft is doing a lot of investment in gaming, because they know that they can use gamers as a test bed for just new technology, and then it can come back to bigger Microsoft. So with streaming, it's still a far ways away, but we're just at the beginning of it. Like literally it just started September. Yeah. So don't think about, I say the future because it's the future. I don't say it's the present, but it's going to be the present at some point, because technology always goes bigger. And so you just have to wait it out. But what I think would happen in a couple of years, 2025, I think that, streaming will be normal. I think next year you're going to have more devices by Xbox, TVs, Roku's, Fire Sticks.
Built into a TV, like partnership with like Samsung.
Yep. Or... They'll want to do it. They'll want it everywhere. Like they'll want it in hotel TVs. They'll want it in just everywhere.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, and I've talked to Nick about it. I've talked to some people about it, like Klob, like years ago. I talked about this, saying that they're going to put streaming everywhere. And that's really going to be the Netflix of games and stuff like that. Right now, there's still Netflix of games, but you're not really Netflix until you reach everyone. You're not really that growth.
And basically, every device.
Every device. That's when you're going to see the biggest growth. Even with our infrastructure right now, where it's not perfect or great, that's when you're going to see growth, no matter what, because people are going to try it, and there's going to be a lot of people, and gamers are gamers, but there's going to be a lot of people that's just good enough. They don't care. Like I was playing Halo 5. I put it on. I got like 23 kills. I was like 23-3. I killed people. Like obviously, I mean, I was dominating. Then as time went on, I got worse and worse, just like I always do in Halo. But I went like 14-4, and then I was like, 10, and I was like, 3 kills. Like, I was going bad. But it's something that people can just try, and then they can just play it, and then, as I said before, the kids who are going to try it out, it's going to be normal for them. And then technology is going to get better. So not for you guys specifically, but for everybody out there, you don't have to do it right now. You don't have to care about, streaming right now. Play on your Xbox. That's what it's there for. But do understand the future of gaming is going to be gaming is everywhere. That is Microsoft's message. Everybody play anywhere on any device.
You know what they would want? Microsoft would want a spot on the remote.
Yes.
So nearly
100%.
Seriously, you know how almost every TV now, the remote Netflix for that TV has a dedicated Netflix button, a dedicated YouTube button, and some of them have Prime. Microsoft will want a spot on that remote, a little Xbox logo. You just push it, it pops up, you sync your controller up or turn on your Bluetooth controller and just start playing straight away. That is what they will want.
Yeah.
And they are in position to be the first gaming one. They're trying to do it perfect. How they're delivering it is perfect. They started off with the Netflix model. They started off with just older games, just like Netflix started out with older movies. Then the next year they put in all their originals, all their first party. Then the next thing that they do is get in third party. Well, no, they did indies for day one, and then they did third party. Now they're doing third parties day one, and then and this is all before they get their big titles, their big house of cards, their Orange is the New Blacks. Like that's what their Halo is. That's what their Starfield is. That's what their Avowed is. Their Forzas. Like they're rolling it out exactly like Netflix, because that's already a proven model. And so if you go by proven models, why would you not do it? And the best thing for them specifically is that they have zero competitors right now.
Right now,
Yeah, no, to do it the way that they are doing. Nobody has, outside of Tencent, who has everything in a sense, but Tencent doesn't have a brand that the world knows by like a platform. But Tencent has a cloud, Tencent has content. They have community through their games, but they don't have that big brand that everybody knows. And that's what Game Pass
Amazon
is.
Kind of does in Twitch.
No, they don't. So Amazon has. Oh, thank you, because I now forgot something. I'm going to say something else. I totally forgot that I went off on a tangent with the streaming stuff. So Amazon does not have content. Amazon has a cloud.
Yeah,
Amazon community.
That's the problem. They're trying to get content.
Yeah, like I've seen, and I don't think the person will get mad at me to say this. I've seen slides where they had community and cloud for certain competitors. Content community cloud. That's the CCC that Microsoft.
Yeah.
They looked at the competitors to see who lines up with them. Nobody really lines up with them outside of Tencent, but Tencent doesn't have that big brand. Amazon has the community with Twitch, and that totally makes sense. But they don't have cloud, so they can compete if they can get their content. That's why they're trying to stick with it so long, because they know that is a very long game. But once they get it, they'll be definitely a big competitor to Microsoft, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time. Like and Amazon has to put more money into that in order for them to be a true competitor. They're going to have to get a lot more studios. So like whoever comes, no matter what company comes behind Microsoft, they have a humongous hill to climb. Even if it's Sony. Sony, obviously, they have a lot of studios. They can be using Azure for their streaming, but they can't compete on that price unless they take debt. And that's what I kind of said a little bit earlier. They would have to take a lot of debt in order to have a competitive price, or they just wait out the long game, because as cloud, as you get more, as technology grows, it gets cheaper, especially in cloud. Like as soon as they buy the hardware, like it makes its money back so fast. So they're always upgrading their hardware. But back to, there's one last point that I want to make that people don't realize, is that Game Pass is not the end all be all for Microsoft. What Microsoft wants is the entire, and pun not intended, is the entire game stack. Yeah. And by stack, I mean, they want the developers, they want the publishers, they want the consumers, they want all the businesses, they want the entire community. That's why they were getting Discord. Discord was a community play, and so they can possibly get back into streaming. That was another reason why. Because everywhere that there is gaming, Microsoft wants to be there. They want to be there somehow. So that's why, like, when you see, we talk about the shelves and stuff like that, they want everybody to know Microsoft is doing gaming for everyone. And it doesn't really matter the console wars and all that type of stuff. They care about money, because that's the business. So they want. Go ahead.
Yeah,
but that was my.
Yeah, it's interesting hearing you talk through it, because it makes sense. So there's a couple of points I wanted to make. So one is Microsoft's approach is also kind of unique. I guess the closest thing I can compare it to really is Stadia, in that Stadia was Linux based. Oh yeah, sorry developers, if you want to be on the cloud streaming platform, you're going to have to act like you're developing for a whole new platform. Like it's like a whole new console arrived. Yep, it's got its unique way of coding for it. It's got its own quirks, whatever the case may be. Microsoft have kind of cleverly said, yeah, we're just going to use Xboxes, so you don't have to do a damn thing beyond what you're already doing, and you can just go into the cloud and it will just work. Here's some extra things you can take advantage of while you're there, but it is what it is. So I completely agree with you that I guess any other company trying to take that approach is going to have a real hard time just on that technical angle alone. But also we've got a super chat from Lamptramp who says, I'm interested as someone who worked in media and film. Do you think about how the source will get bigger at the same time that tech does? So if I'm passing that correctly, and Lamptramp, feel free to clarify. Are we talking about the audience is going to get big and grow as
a little
bit
after
grows?
that? A little bit after that, Lamptramp said, i.e., 7G is great for stuff now, but what about in 5 years' time? And I'm assuming they meant 5G?
Yeah, I would presume that. I forgot, what was the question again? So I can answer that correctly.
How the source will get bigger at the same time tech does.
Yeah.
So I think, because I was looking at the chat earlier. So, for example, we have bitrate issues now. So, yeah, for most people, the bitrate that Netflix does 1080p at is perfectly fine. But obviously, it's demolished by what a Blu-ray can do.
Right.
So my assumption is the discussion is around the source material, like games and movies and their bitrate and music. So there's lossless and there's compressed and there's...
Yes.
My guess is that's what it's about.
Yeah, so I would answer that in saying that, yes, both of them will grow. And it would be just how Netflix is, where you wouldn't have that clarity as native. That's just going to always be the case. But the thing what Microsoft is trying to do with streaming is that it's trying to get to like very, very simple words, and that's good enough. That's all they need to get to.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything that is, it has to be perfect like a Blu-ray, because we don't have our 4K now streaming is not perfect, but people are totally fine with that. I don't care. I pay Netflix for 4K streaming, and it's not as good as Blu-ray, but I don't care because it's good enough. So hopefully that answers that question. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever get to a point where what the streaming can do will match native, but I don't think enough people will care either. Yeah. If you care about that high bit rate and you care about that native quality, guess what? You've got a native device.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna... I mean, with Netflix, you have no choice, obviously, for their original content. But the third-party stuff...
Okay, I see what she's saying. I just looked in the chat. She was saying, like, okay, well, we have 7G, like, let's say if we have 7G now, right? But then we have 8K games. And so wouldn't we have, like, the same type of issue that beforehand? So the thing is like, kind of going back to just being good enough. 8K gaming, are we really going to get there? Like, there's going to be a point in which the visual clarity we're not chasing that as gamers. Not just saying the technology want to do that for TVs, but there's always a new technology. There's always a new thing that we do in tech that to say, hey, this is the new thing. Like, okay, we have VRR and all that type of stuff or whatever. And like, okay, can we apply that to streaming and all that? But I wouldn't focus too much on the clarity and the image quality versus just good enough. Because like when it gets to 8K, like I have no desire to really get an 8K TV. Yeah, even if I would get it because it will be cheaper in whatever amount of years, but it's not something that's like native 8K. Like nobody's going back and like looking at bump mapping in games. Like nobody cares. It's just a natural thing that kind of happens.
And the Series S, I mean, look at why the Series S exists, because 1080p is good enough. That's fine.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
The new TVs do the rest.
Yeah.
They do the better TVs do a pretty good job upscaling. Randall joined the chat too. Just to
throw us some shade.
Only 20 viewers. He went all Matthew McConaughey on us. Mate, only 20 viewers. You guys need to pump up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers. Mate, the power went out.
We were rocking like triple that.
We had 67 before that, but yeah.
Oh man,
that was my rant on the future, and obviously anybody can ask me questions. I always can come back at any point to answer.
We'll have to get
stuff
you
that's
to.
going on.
Have to get you to write a full opinion.
So, Linkified said they're releasing Netflix originals on Blu-ray and DVD. Are they? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they do. That is a thing that happens, but again, they're doing that because they can, and they just want to broaden their market. So they have those things that anybody can do, because they want to make sure that their originals rise up versus all the other things that's out there. Right. So it's the branding of Netflix.
Yeah.
So they do it for their own reasons, but it's not because there's a huge market for Blu-ray DVDs, even though that there is still a large market for it. Obviously, otherwise you wouldn't make it. But it's not what they focus on. Look at what these companies report on. Netflix reports on subscribers. most of those, I would say 90% of those subscribers are streaming.
Yeah,
100%. And so what is now Microsoft focus on? Subscribers. And so when they get the streaming stuff in there, that number is going to grow, and it's going to be based off of the streaming, not so much of the console, even though the console is 100% important, especially right now, because streaming isn't there. When it is there, it would be like how Blu-rays are now. But it's still a very important thing, but it won't be the thing that people focus on. It's not going to be the box that people are going to care about. It's going to be the content. And that is actually, as a gamer, you should care about. You should care about the content, the thing that you're playing, the game that was designed for you versus what is next to that, the thing that you're not looking at when you're playing a game. You're not looking at the box.
Yeah.
You're looking at the screen. And so that should always be the focus for gamers, in my opinion. But obviously people who love tech like me, you go and look at the numbers, you look at the technologies and the methods that are being used, like ray tracing, like the DX12 Agility SDK, all those type of things are so cool. But as gamers, I think that there's been some bad, I don't say bad, but yeah, bad discussions around the importance of the details.
Yeah.
In the sense is like, you guys are caring about this number instead of the thing that you're looking at. Who cares about the number?
It's console wars.
Yeah.
It is console wars.
Man.
Yeah, I mean it's a fascinating future we could live in. That was a journey.
We've still got so much more to go through.
That's why it's in part 2.
We've still got so much more to go through.
Well, okay, look, we'll touch on this one. I did see another piece of news this week that the Windows 10 store is getting some much needed love and attention. Now, I say Windows 10 store, right? I know that we have the Xbox app, but everything is just a skin. It still feeds into that store. That store is a lot. It's just not good. It was never designed to deliver applications as large as games.
No.
So yeah, much desired. I hope to.
I remain skeptical on that one because they've said stuff like that before.
Exactly, but then they said they would improve their presence in PC, and I'd argue while it's not 100% where it needs to be, they're getting there. They're doing more than they've ever done, and they're doing it right, in my opinion, anyway. So, do you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna come out of nowhere. You guys won't even be able to see it, but for our audience, they'll be able to see.
No. Wait. Don't we still have Forza Horizon?
Yeah, we can throw that in there because I'm pressing the button, man. I hope you enjoyed that. I really love pressing that button. So, Rumour Mill. It's Rumour Mill time. Yeah. This isn't Ed's Rumour Mill, but obviously there's a lot of rumours going on.
No. Yeah.
Right now.
Oh, well, I guess we're lumping Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah, it's a rumour, isn't it? It counts as the Rumour Mill. Forza Horizon 5, not set in Japan, but set... And let's provide some context. Jeff Grubb and Klob and Jez, they're all kind of talking about learning Spanish. They keep mentioning, I really want to go visit Mexico, and so on and so forth.
Is it Mexico?
Well, I would rephrase and perhaps use a catch-all and say Latin America. Maybe.
Yes, that's a better term to say.
So, but yeah.
My gut tells me to be somewhere else.
I think Latin America would be a beautiful place for them to try out.
No doubt about
it. I've been to Brazil for the World Cup in 2014, and it was awesome. I was in Sao Paulo, and it is definitely a place that because so much
2016,
2014.
The World Cup.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's not go on a football tangent. Good Lord.
I'm telling you because that is the year I took my then
I got
girlfriend.
confused with the Euro. I was thinking of the Euro. Greece won the Euro in 2004.
Yeah. Yeah, but the culture there and driving around there is so beautiful, especially the outskirts and like when I was going to a beach and stuff like that. So I would think that Latin America would be a awesome choice for them to do. Obviously, everybody wants Japan, but I think Latin America. I think it gives. I think for Forza and that team, it gives a good opportunity for people to enjoy other parts of the world, like the Australian stuff. Like I was like, oh, I have to drive on the other side, but I was looking at the landscapes and stuff. I was like, this is a beautiful place.
The correct side. The correct side of the road.
Forza Horizon 3 is still the best setting.
I have to admit, in terms of setting, as much as I loved Forza Horizon 4 and the UK is pretty cool. Yeah, 3 was really special. It looks gorgeous.
I love 3.
Driving past places that I have driven past, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know, because I saw the Latin America thing too. I don't know. Like I said, my gut tells me that it might be somewhere else.
Your gut?
Yeah, my gut.
Just your gut?
My gut tells me it might be somewhere else.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying. My gut tells me.
You know how people are going to tweet. We've spoken about this on part 1 of this podcast.
I know.
You know, people will take your words.
That rant is already in the other.
It's in the past now.
Episode. Now, as to my actual rumor mill. Okay, so, God, this is going to be. I don't know how you're going to stitch these 2 episodes together. You're going to have to take the first one down.
I'm already working on it. Don't you worry about it.
Download both, put them together, and the audio version is going to be a mess. Anyway, I'm not doing it this time, thankfully. Okay. So there's a story with my rumor mill, okay? And I am always very upfront about this stuff. So July last year, long time ago, someone reached out to me. Remember I said, people seem to think I have somehow fooled people into thinking I'm a nice person. Now, this person, because I'm not a nice person at all. Now, this person reached out to me July last year. And I said, oh, look, I've watched your podcast and you seem like you handle sensitive information well. And, I wanted to give you some info on some stuff, but I'm worried that this is going to trace back to me. And I said, well, look, only you can know if this is going to trace back to you. I can't tell you that. If you don't want to tell me, don't tell me. If you want to tell me, tell me. They said, look, let me ask a couple of questions. I'll see what I can do, and I'll let you know. Cool. That was back in July. I completely forgot about
July
this
last
DM.
year.
July last year.
Wow.
I completely forgot about this DM. April, so this month, they reached out to me again. Said, oh, I can tell you that thing I heard about.
Wow.
Oh my God. Where did you come from? I'm like, okay.
Some things have happened since then.
Oh my God. And they gave me the info and my ears perked up a little bit. They picked up a little bit at what I was told. But then I mentioned in the first half of the episode, I'm not a web crawler, but I've started to do that now when I get told stuff by people. Just in case, like the Sony Game Pass thing, I fully admitted that I actually found that someone on GAF had created a prediction thread that Sony would do an entertainment pass. Like, I'm completely open about it. So when this person reached out to me, they gave me what they gave me. I actually then did some digging and found that this rumor had kind of got out there on Twitter, and not many people noticed it. So someone on Twitter called @Pokeprotos, you can look that up now, Pokeprotos, leaked some Crytek stuff. And that Crytek stuff included Crysis Next, Crysis VR, new Ryse, Hunt Mobile, Robertson 2, which I think is the VR game, is a lot of VR stuff, Ryse Next, blah, blah, blah. But my person reached out to me initially in July. So like that person that told me about Gearbox, I had a reason to believe that this person was legit, because they then showed me certain things that made me believe they were on the level. So, of course, the thing that I got excited about the most was the fact that a new Ryse is in development. I was like, oh my God. Because how long have we been saying that we want a new Ryse game?
Yeah.
So this person told me, yep, there's a new Ryse in development. I can't give dates and I can't give quarters of when things are happening, just that there's a Ryse in development. And like I said, I've been given pictures of stuff that leads me to believe this person is legit. The interesting part about Ryse is that at least at the time of whenever this was happening, and I know what I'm saying right now doesn't make a lot of sense, but it was a multi-plat game and not exclusive to Xbox.
Huh.
So should this Ryse game be happening, it seems like it may be multi-plat. Now, I'd be surprised if Phil does not try and lock that down.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised.
Yeah.
But the thing I have been shown indicates that it is a multi-plat game at the time of this thing that I was shown. And that's about as much detail as I can give. But based on what this person showed me, it looks like all that stuff pretty much in that October Twitter leak is legit, I think. Like the new Robinson and the Crisis Next and da-da-da-da. So anyone that's on Twitter right now, you can look up that person, that Poke Protos person, and look in their leak what they had. Like that the next Crisis is apparently a Battle Royale and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I saw this leak. I found this leak that was from October, but my person actually reached out to me in July.
Wow.
So my assumption was that they spent the next however long making sure that this couldn't trace back to them or whatever it would be. But yeah, the biggest thing out of that all was that there is supposedly a Ryse game in development.
That would be great.
So I really hope that's true.
Yeah, I love it.
I think it would be so good. Good.
For the record, this person is new to me. I have two regular main sources. This person came to me out of nowhere last July, so I couldn't. And I said to them up front, I said, look, mate, because I can't verify that you're not full of shit, and because I don't really know who you are, I am going to be up front and say that you are not one of my regular people, so I'm not 100% on all of this. And they were like, that's fine. So, again, they've showed me some stuff. I've kept that stuff, so I've got it. But I'm hoping it's true that there is a new Ryse game in development, because I have wanted a new Ryse since the first Ryse came out. I love Ryse. Ryse is great.
I love Killer Instinct.
Oh yeah, well, Killer Instinct. Yeah. So that's the rumor mill.
Boom. There you go.
I hope I worded that in a way where we don't see articles saying that.
Dude,
like I tried my best, because apparently my words get watched far more now. So
hey Nick, can you spell out that person's Twitter name one more time? Somebody's asking.
That Twitter name. It is at POKEPROTOS. That's not the person that reached out to me. I found that leak. Yeah. When my person told me about Ryse, I then found that from back in October. But to be fair to the person that reached out to me, they initially reached out to me in July, so well before that Twitter leak. So again, I'm going with my gut here. I think this person's legit. But we'll find out.
Everybody don't get on Nick just in case he's wrong, because it's not him being wrong. It's his information that he is getting.
But, I feel like I've been pretty upfront about this particular one in how I got it. So
people will switch around.
Yeah, I still look forward to seeing the article tomorrow. So it's going to happen. Yeah. Ryse 2 in development confirms.
If there is a new Ryse, I'd be very interested to see if it's multi-plat or if in that time Phil has. Now, when I say Phil, I'm saying Phil the personification of Xbox.
No, Phil is the one who definitely signed the deal, because he goes out to places, he talks to people. He's a very busy man.
Wait. Best message in the chat all night. Ryse 2 is a Google Stadia exclusive. Call it Ryse Son of Chrome.
Right. Oh, that is a good
Congratulations.
one. Congratulations.
You've made my favourite comment so far.
That's actually quite clever. It's legitimately clever. I'm going to steal that and claim it as my own because that's the sort of person I am.
All right. Now, look, we appreciate live show. Things can go a bit wrong, power cuts included. But do you know what? We're still super grateful for all of our patrons. If you weren't aware, XboxEra has a Patreon which you can donate to help us do the wonderful things that we try and do. A special thank you to the Scarecrow121, Torn Raptor, Nottian, Shadowgasm, Blaster Based, Big M Ice Coffee Milk, Nodorius, Somnia, Dylan, Saint Irv, Dave Foucault, Gabquist. I think they're new. They're very new. VK Andrew, Sowing Shade, K, Notjack, Keris, and Crazy Spaz. There's going to be a point where I can't read this out anymore, and it's just going to have to scroll or something. And that's a cool place to be.
Can I jump in for a sec?
Yeah.
I completely forgot that I told this source of mine to watch the show live and keep an eye on me to make sure I don't say anything wrong. So I just got the DM in Discord, and they just DM me saying, "It's all good. Just listen and heard it. Thanks for being careful."
That's hilarious. Nice to know. Nice to know he's listening.
So I completely forgot that I asked them to watch the show live, but yeah, I did, and they were watching while I said that. So I obviously said all the right things, which is good.
Yeah, that's good. Way to be careful, Nick.
Now this is where you can kick back and relax because we're no longer in podcast mode. We're in community questions mode. And first of all, we deal with our lovely patrons who get first exclusive dibs to our community questions section. So I will shut the hell up. And Nick, who have we got today? What have we got?
Oh, no. What's Jesse saying? Nick, I'm not sure I've ever met someone with a worse memory. Okay. First question. The Scarecrow121. G'day. Simple and easy question to start off Patreon questions. What was the best thing that happened to you this week? P.S. Big M Iced Coffee Milk sucks. The beverage, not the Patreon supporter. Bullshit. Big M Iced Coffee Milk sucks. Big M Iced Coffee Milk is great. The best thing that happened to you this week? God. That's such a simple question, yet I can't think of an answer.
I can figure out something. My daughter started saying more words, so now she says like snow, and she's now named her little stuffed dog named Fufu.
Fufu.
That's the best thing.
Thanks for reminding me then. Because mine relates to my child, one of my children as well. So my lazy 5-year-old son, for the first time, wiped his own ass. That's the best thing that happened to me.
I'm so happy for you. I'm still wiping my 3-year-old's ass.
Freaking lazy little prick.
Yeah, well, man. I'm not going to talk about it because Lamp Tramp already caused a power cut by typing that super chat in. So I'm going to leave it there. Best thing that happened to me this week was I got final confirmation after all of my hard work last year about what my bonus for my real job would be. It's a good month. It's a good month.
Oh,
good month for Sikamikanico.
How much of that do I get?
I wish
there was any of that.
There was a crickets. There needs to be a crickets button on the soundboard.
I thought John's power went out.
Yeah.
we already got that tag on Twitter about me getting all that insider money, and I'm like, I don't see any money. I see none of it.
Technically, no one sees any money because it just sits there at the moment. Like we need to think of some things to do with that to invest back in. Open to suggestions. More giveaways, maybe. That would be cool.
Get me a better microphone.
Yeah, same here. Get me a home office that isn't this black curtain.
Just go ahead and build it, John.
I'm working on it, man. I need the money to build the thing. You know, it's a catch-22.
I know.
Okay. Next question.
Yeah, please go on. Good question.
We said our things. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now, this is caught under the chair. Okay.
Get a pipe out. Pour yourself an extra drink.
Yeah. Okay. Oh boy, and this is a doozy, this one.
Okay. Oof. This is going to be fun.
Let me take a big puff for this.
I'm going to have to create a little animated, lamp tramp thing
this
that comes up with a lamp tramp question.
It's going to need its own timestamp, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Kara's question. Glad tidings be unto you all the board. So we're a board now. Okay. We were talking in the Discord the other day about guns and police forces. Don't worry, I won't get serious. I mentioned a friend who was an officer who eventually became a member of the ART, A-R-T? The ART, the ART?
Armed Response Team, if I was to guess.
Yes, probably, yeah.
Keris like is from the UK, so...
Yep. Okay. And it made me recall a story from long ago. And my God, this is... I said to Keris, I'm not reading this out.
Come on, you got it. It's the job.
I know. Okay. A long time ago, when the world was young, a fresh-faced Keris was doing panto. Pause to explain panto sick.
Ridiculous theatre, usually with men in drag and lots of he's behind you. Oh no, he isn't. All that sort of thing. It's a very UK driven thing.
Did I pronounce that right?
Panto.
Yeah, panto.
Yep. Panto. Pantomime. Okay. It's short for.
Pantomime. Yes. Okay. There you go. I should have realised that. I'm stupid. Panto sucks. It's long hours. The songs are awful. There are hundreds of kids in the audience. You miss Christmas, and it lasts over a month. We do, though, drink lots, smoke lots, have illegitimate colds, and kiss lots of people in the cast and crew. Keris did like. Anyway, one night when we were particularly bored, we decided, this was 1997, I think, we would end the night with a Run DMC versus Jason Nevins dance-off. What? I love that song. Amazing. I just broke my vape. Look.
Oh no, you've lost your cap. Here,
yeah.
I have a spare.
Jason Evans dance off before heading home since all the pubs were shut. Girls versus boys.
Fair.
The security guard chased us from the car park, so we ended up pushing a flight case of drinks to the local graveyard to commence the battle there. Sadly, we soon discovered the dry ice we had brought to prevent the drinks warming had worked a little too well, chilling the beer and my spiced Bacardi to roughly 195 Kelvin, or minus 80 degrees Celsius, if you're so inclined. The battle soon commenced regardless, and we were into round 3 of the competition, with me prepared to unleash the dragon on the tiny piece of plywood someone had brought when the Rozzers arrived. What are the Rozzers?
Police.
Rozzers?
Yeah, it's a British slang. Or fuzz, you know. Here comes
the fuzz. I know. Rozzers.
Okay. Rozzers, yeah.
We say the Johnny Oppers.
Yeah.
The Coppers?
Yeah.
Johnny Oppers.
It's a bit Cockney rhyming, Sam, or Australian rhyming.
The Rozzers arrived in what appeared to be the riot van. We say the divvy van. There was a complicated mix of actions, and several past members of the parish had graves adorned with non-typical items of remembrance, and we were lined up. Fortunately, the old Bill knew us from work, from bomb threats and bomb dog training, and decided a toll was all the punishment required. So they took the flight case, sent us home, and dropped off the empties later. Not particularly amusing, I'll grant you, but I wanted to keep it brief. I hate it when people go on and on, don't you? So, my question is this.
Oh my gosh.
Naturally, you all have had brushes with the law. I mean, just look at you. What was your crime? How were you punished? And was it as bad as a dance-off in a graveyard? Keris. P.S. Coffee is awful. It's not. Coffee is the best.
Coffee is awesome.
So, we've all had brushes with the law. Look at you. Well, I'm Australian. I'm a UK prisoner anyway, aren't I?
Apparently, according to stereotype, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Brushes with the law. Yeah. There's one I've had that I'd rather not talk about publicly. But
I've got a couple. I can spin some yarns. Are you ready for this? Let me brace myself. I've got one serious one, and one not serious one. I'll do the serious one first so that I can end with some brevity. Non-serious one I have, and I still have it downstairs. I had a BB shotgun, fired small metal pellets. Now, this is back in the days, probably 1998, something like that. I'm playing GoldenEye or Perfect Dark on my N64. I can't remember which.
Yes, you are.
Right, and my mate, let's call him David. That's not his real name because I'm very conscious.
Let's make him a hexer. Let's make him hexer.
Was behind me and he was fooling around with it. What I didn't know was that he was shooting passerbys outside of my bedroom window, which was on the front of my parents' house. He was shooting members of the public with metal BBs. Now, they can break the skin, not usually, but it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Now, I didn't know he did this. He shot a couple of people. Right. I didn't know anything about this until he told me, like, as he went home, and I was like, "You idiot," but okay, no one's at the door kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
He went home. 8 p.m. Ding dong. A rather stern-looking police officer arrived. And I got wheeled into the room, and my dad looked at me and said, "Son, there are times in life where you don't tell on your friends. This is not one of those times." It was very much a case of I was just like, like I just blurted it all out. Suffice to say, my friend got a caution. I got a big telling off, but I got away without any criminal record because I was not the perpetrator of the shot. And that was the end of it. So, but apparently someone got very hurt. It hit there in her neck.
Yeah, they do some damage, man.
Kids doing stupid things. Now, the funniest story is I was really stoned one night. Many years later, well, not many years, 2000, 2001. My parents were away out on holiday, and I had the house with my older brother who didn't really care, and my younger brother who wasn't yet old enough to really be of any threat to my social status. And we had a great idea, because I was growing my own weed in my mother's house at this point, and we had a great idea after smoking lots and lots that wouldn't it be cool? No one's ever done this. Let's paint a zebra crossing on the road on our own. I don't know. We were very young. Right? People have ideas. But we did a reconnaissance mission. So we go out to our local high street and there's a zebra crossing. There's 3 of us. So I was responsible for the spacing with my feet as a guide and number of black and white stripes on a road. And for those that don't have a zebra crossing, you might call it a pelican crossing or something like that. But it's generally a place
I've only ever heard of zebra.
Yeah. So cars are expected to stop. You cross the road over these black and white stripes. So another guy was responsible for the length of the stripes, etc. And then we had someone else on the detailing, which is like the zigzags that approach it.
Yeah.
Late that night, 2 a.m., we got into my dad's garage. We dug out lots of white gloss paint, rollers, paintbrushes, and we snuck out and we did that. We painted a full-sized zebra crossing on the middle of my parents' road, about 3 doors up from their house. Now, I don't know about any of you, but if you've had a little bit to smoke, and I don't really smoke anymore, this was when I was younger, you got a bit paranoid. Everything was like, I think we were outside for something like 5 hours, but we got the job done, despite lots of driving into bushes, thinking police cars were after us and all sorts of silliness. We got the job done, and the best moment of that summer for me was the morning after, waking up bleary-eyed, peering out of the window as a young woman with her 2 children stopped at my zebra crossing. The cars slowed and she crossed successfully. And I thought, this is the best thing I've ever done in my life. And
you saved that lady's life.
It was great. And what's really cool is it made the local newspaper with the headline, Mr. X stripes in the dead of night. So already there's a bit of an Xbox connection there. My parents had that framed, and it's in their house because they thought it was cool.
Nice.
At the time, they got back from their holiday like 2 days later, and hi mum, hi dad, and then there's about an hour they've been in. There was like, John, can you come downstairs? Yes, poker face. Can you tell us if you've got anything to do with the zebra crossing 2 doors up from the house? And my dad just went, in that case, if you're telling me no, could you please explain why all of my paintbrushes and paint cans are in the hedge in the front garden? And I was like, oh shit! It was scrambled in.
Deny till you die.
But my parents said to me, I give them the best stories for dinner parties they've ever had. So yeah, that's it. That's my brush with the law.
Look, mine is the one that I'm publicly willing to talk about is not anything spicy. It's a bit boring. Like we used to throw a lot of parties at my house when I used to live with my parents in a very affluent suburb. And of course, we were just the Greeks that used to make a lot of noise whenever we'd have birthday parties or whatever. Yeah. So our neighbours used to call the cops on us a lot whenever we'd have these parties, to the point where the cops would actually get kind of annoyed, like with all the phone calls and stuff. Like they'd get called quite early. So what would happen is they'd come to our house, knock on the door, we'd answer, we'd see the cops there. It got to a point where they basically knew us. Oh, look, we've got some complaints, can you just sort of turn down the music a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And what would happen was we had this thing with them where we'd say, okay, here, take some cake, take some desserts, we'll see you in a couple of hours. So we just keep going with our music at the same level, knowing the people were going to complain. And so the cops would come back and bring the clean, empty plates for us. And then we'd turn the music down the second time.
Amazing.
That was our brush with the law that I'm willing to talk about.
I guess since I'm a black man,
I was walking one day. I was walking, doing nothing wrong.
So I'll actually say something when I wasn't doing anything wrong. Is that
hold on, you can't have had any brushes with the law, can you? You're here talking to us right now.
Exactly. Well, that's because I plan my life accordingly when I leave the comfort of my home. But there was one time, things that I will talk about. There was one time I used to live in Baltimore, Maryland, and I used to live there, and then I moved down to North Carolina for college. And so I went back up there one day to just go see a friend. I used to live in the neighborhood, walk around there, drive, all that type of stuff. So I was driving away from my friends. I was leaving his house and going to my parents' house. And then cop pulls me over. And I'm like, okay, here we go. What did I do? So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, got to get 10-2, blah, blah, blah. Got to be perfect, whatever, because that's just what I'm taught. And that's what made me survive this long, blah, blah, blah. And so the cop decided to have his bright lights on, so I couldn't see what was behind me at all, because I was just like, what? Why did you even stop me? So he came by and just asked me, like, driver's license. And then I asked him or he asked me, I can't remember the order of operations, what happened. And he basically said that I ran a stop sign, like, in front of him. Like, because I saw the cop when I passed by. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I ran a stop sign? And then I ran it in front of you? I'm like, no, there's not a stop sign there. Like, I lived there for 5 years. Like, there's not a stop sign there. Mm-hmm. End of the story, he didn't give me a ticket, but he was just trying to butch my shit, basically. Because my ID, my driver's license was in North Carolina or whatever. And he was just like, where are you coming from or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just trying to look for something. And I'm just like, no, there's so it was a 4-way, but there's stop signs on his side, but there's not on my side. Yeah. So basically he was like going like this and I was going this way. And so I didn't have a stop sign because there's more traffic that way.
You're supposed to give way.
Yeah. And so I was like, there's no stop sign there or whatever. And basically, end of the story, he just let me go. And I was like, you knew there wasn't a stop sign because you didn't give me a ticket. You didn't give me a ticket. if I ran a stop sign right in front of you, you would give me a ticket. But that's one of stories. But I do have a similar story to you, Nick, where in college, throwing parties all the time, whatever, told my neighbors, hey, come downstairs, because they used to call or whatever, or they used to come down and say being too loud or whatever. And I'm like, well, come party with us, like, whatever.
That's the solution we all need.
Like, come down and party. And so it got to the point where they would call the cops, or they'll call the people, the security around that apartment complex there at the time. And they got to know us just like how you said or whatever. It was like the same guy. And he literally was just like, he just stood outside and like just watched the girls go by. And it was like, yo, that's some good women around here. I was like, oh, yeah. You know, I gave him a drink and stuff like that or whatever. But he was like, okay, now we gotta shut it down at some point. And he told, it was funny. Not this time, but there was a different time in which some other cop that I kind of didn't know. No, I didn't know him. And basically they shut down the party after some time or whatever. At a decent time to shut down a party, like 3, 4 o'clock or whatever. And I had everybody leave the party basically like they were going on a school trip. Like everybody single file line, just going out, just easy, like the easiest. And like I was like, I've never seen a party so eloquently dispersed.
So
just walk out, single file line. Like what's going on? Is because people who knew me when I was going and doing parties and stuff, like everybody knew me. It's just like it's supposed to be a good time. A lot of other people's parties ends in fights or gunshots and stuff like that, but mine never did, because I was like, no, you're not here with drama. We're here with drinking. You know, I'm buying a whole bunch of drinks, making it for people and having a good time. But yeah, that's my only stuff that I would say. But I haven't had any bad stuff.
I saw Lamp Tramp kind of acknowledged that, yeah, hey, I don't think she was aware that you were on the show. And obviously questions about police, right? And like, you know, we're all grown-ups here. Questions about police and fun, amusing stories and brushings with the law, they can be very different comparatively between Britain and America and elsewhere in the world. But I also know that, don't worry, Lamp Tramp, Zedox is a big boy. he can handle himself. He took no offense.
A little talk.
Yeah, and you know, like, hey, it's crazy the world right now, and it's gross, and I think we all stand in unison with that.
Rand is still in the chat.
Yes, he is.
This podcast
He's mocking
needs
us.
more hair. I know why he look. Firstly, I'm actually growing my hair now.
I saw.
And
it suits you
because Rand actually posted a photo of himself on Twitter.
I saw this. He looks like the Sasquatch.
Like a homeless person, yeah. And then I think he posted something with Jeff Grubb and his long flock of hair.
It's like put some product in to make it wavy.
Hold on, I'm seeing what he's saying here.
He's getting angry.
Nick paid me to write that byline in the Windows Central article. Okay. And did you see what he said? That we need an actual insider on this show, so Grubb would be a great pick. I've had Grubb on here.
Grubb will come on again. He loves this show.
Yeah. Jeff's good.
He's a kind-hearted soul. But hey, Rand, if you're putting pictures of yourself out there, does that mean next time you join the show you're going to turn
next time you have to be on video now?
You know, if we're having the XboxEra podcast mash with the Xbox 2, we've got to do it on video, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You have to be on video now. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
But seriously, cut your hair. Okay. Now, next question. All right. God, we've still got so many questions. That was just characters. Oh God, this is gonna
get through these.
It's kind of ironic that our longest ever episode is going to be one that was broken in two.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Ton Raptor, get 18. I was thinking of how Shigeru Miyamoto has talked about his inspiration for games such as Pikmin, with him spending time in the garden, and Zelda was inspired by his memories of exploring the Kyoto countryside as a kid. So thinking back to your childhoods, what games could you envision creating from your experiences? Thanks, guys. You have no idea how much I look forward to listening to you guys each week. The podcast has very quickly become among my favorites. P.S. I'm jumping on the anti-coffee train. It may smell fantastic, but it tastes foul.
What is going on here, guys and girls?
It's a coffee thing. Thank you for the kind words, Torn Raptor, but coffee's the best.
Yeah, but on that subject, for me, GTA and, Jet Set Radio, I guess. Just graffiti and shooting people.
I'm just trying to think. It's funny. So a game from my childhood that I could envision creating from your experiences. I reckon that game is probably Shifu, that new game that just got announced. You know, where he's going through the corridor and he's just punching people up? Because that's what I used to do to my little brother. So maybe that would be the game. Something like...
It's difficult for me to even answer this question because I was working on a game that it's not from like my childhood, but it's like the game that I envisioned making, and I was like in the middle of trying to make it, even though I'm not really doing it. So basically, it would be a 2D action platformer, basically, because that was the games that I liked in my childhood. And it would be me as the star, but even though it wouldn't be me, it'll just be my character. And it would basically kind of be like that. It would be just an action platformer with like some mystical enchantment, like powers and stuff like that. So basically the game that I've always wanted to work on. And literally I made that game up. I started that thought of making a game when I was like, sheesh. It was a road trip when I was a child, so maybe like 8 years old. When I learned that my father he did a class. This is funny. So he had a class in college, and in college they had to recreate Pac-Man or whatever. And so he told me as a child that basically he made Pac-Man or whatever, and I took it as he created Pac-Man. So like my dad was like, I was like, oh my God, my dad made Pac-Man. Yeah.
Stupid kids.
And so I was kind of, and so like I learned later on that it was like, no, he didn't. But then like literally that moment, I'm like 8. No, so later on in life, when I was like 12, 13, because I was in middle school, I literally tried to pick up a book that said learn C in 21 days. Like I was literally looking at programming books that young and trying to do those like linkers, and you had to have a text editor. And I was trying to look on my computer, what did I have so I could actually do this? And it was so beyond me to learn how to program or whatever, but I had that inkling to do it then or whatever. And then from there, I actually just started literally making games. Like I did the RPG Maker when I was really, really young. I used to do little design and good doodles of stuff that I wanted to make. And then when I actually was making stuff with like XNA or whatever, funny enough, we talked about Zune. With XNA, you actually could make games on a Zune, and I actually made Sudoku. I actually still have it. I actually have a copy of like one of the first games I made on my Zune right now. That's playable today.
Your Zune still turns on?
I haven't tried it in a couple years, but yeah, I still have the charger, so I don't see why not.
Cool. Rand, super chat. Would a homeless person send a super chat though, Nick? Hey, homeless people make money too.
Yeah, I'm about to say you just grab that off of one of your Twitter buddies.
Someone puts $5 in your guitar case, in your empty guitar case where people are dumping all the change.
What is he talking about? He's
put it in the super chat.
He's taking a super chat from Xbox 2 and just putting it right here. That's all.
Yeah,
he's just funneling the money.
Homeless people still have money.
Yeah,
trust me.
6th game would be Halo Forge Simulator in the mold of PC building simulator. So I'd be making a forge for Forge. I don't. That's so convoluted. It hurts my brain. But it's late. I don't know.
Okay.
That's a fun question.
Next question. Nintendo the GOAT. Okay. Good evening, Nick, Chris, and Jonathan. Do you guys think we will see Hellblade 2 gameplay at E3 this year? If so, would it be a full-on demo or just a little snippet of gameplay with more to follow at the Game Awards? Thanks for the amazing podcast every week. Love you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see some Hellblade 2.
I find it weird that we saw that trailer in December 2019, and then we've heard nothing since.
We'll see something.
I don't think it's weird at all. Actually, I think because they have so much content that they're like, well, we'll just give you this snippet, kind of like Perfect Dark Zero. I don't expect to see that for another year or at the least. So we'll see Hellblade this in 2 months.
I don't know.
2 months.
I think we'll see it.
I hope so.
I think we do see it. I think that we will see a snippet of it. I think that they have not a lot of stuff done. I don't think it's releasing this year, but I think that it would be something that they could show and show a snippet in gameplay, and people will actually think like, is this gameplay or is this not gameplay? Whatever.
Chestnut.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna play that card. I think it is good for the community to kind of guess if it's gameplay or not, because we're getting to that point where developers are having a lot more time, and so I think we will see some gameplay.
I hope we do, but I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, I don't think we're going to hear from Hellblade again for a little while. But yeah, I hope I'm wrong.
Focus on the big games, the big, AO4, Halo, Starfield.
I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion that this E3 will be dedicated to stuff that's coming sooner.
Yeah.
Halo, Starfield. I don't know if Wolfenstein 3 is close. There'll be some third-party stuff. I don't know. I think in terms of first-party, this E3 will probably focus on stuff coming sooner, like releasing sooner. But I don't know. Okay. Blast the base. What's good, chaps? This one is for Predictor Zedox. What's it going to take to get xCloud on the same technical level as Stadia?
Xbox Series X blades.
Yeah.
When those happen, you will get the same thing as Stadia. Probably better. You'll probably get better performance than Stadia, because you have to remember Stadia was a 10.7 teraflop machine, and it was RDNA, let's say 1.5 or whatever. I believe it was RDNA 1, if at all. I can't remember, but basically you are going to get a more powerful system, a faster system inside of those blades. So when that happens next year, when the rollout happens, is going to be in stages, and they may not even tell you that they've changed it, because that's usually how cloud services go. They may say, hey, we may have performance gains, and they could beat their drum and say that they've done it. But for the most part, it'll just be better. And leading up to this, actually the performance that is in the web-based streaming is actually better than the PC streaming app. Just FYI.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It's 1080p, I think.
No, not even that. Like technically, it is better at input, better at everything. Except is as close as it is to the Android native app that you would get. So PC streaming is the PC streaming app is worse in everything, especially input. Just FYI.
Okay. Very good. Next question, because we've still got a few more. We're at pretty much the 3-hour mark. DA game. Hello, committee / commission / anything but fucking panel. This weekend is the Oscars and the Razzies, and much spirited debate has occurred both on the Discord and forums about Game of the Year and Keeley's Game Awards. Now, while recent Xbox... No, I don't want to... because this didn't make sense to me. While recent Xbox initiates... Is he talking about initiatives?
Initiates.
Initiates. I've never heard of the word in that context. Initiates.
Yeah, you're an acolyte, or you're a recent follower or you're a recent joiner. You're an initiate. You're a starter.
I've literally never heard of that. I've read that as initiates, like he initiates something.
Yeah.
I have never heard of it like that. Sorry, I apologize.
That's all right.
While recent Xbox initiates have been nominated for Game of the Year at Keighley's show in the last decade, including Obsidian, id, Bethesda Game Studios, and Arcane, the last time a Microsoft published game was nominated was in 2010 with Halo Reach. Is that true? Wow. They have never won any Game of the Year award either on Keighley's stage, barring, again, Bethesda. Didn't Halo CE win Game of the Year?
I think
I'm pretty sure CE did.
But they didn't really have a big game.
Yeah, I know. An official thing. Yeah. Now that they have grown their first party substantially, do you think any of Microsoft's forthcoming slate of exclusive/multiplats, barring Deathloop and Ghostwire, will be nominated in the next 5 years? Do you think any will win? Nominated? Probably. Win? No, not while Jeff is running it. But yeah.
I don't know.
There won't be an Xbox game-winning game of the year.
I think if a game does well enough, does something amazing, captures the zeitgeist in an appropriate way, I think it's possible. I just think it's a shame that certain genres are immediately locked out, from ever being nominated because they're not narrative-driven, as an example. That's a whole different discussion. I think there is.
Well, maybe Jeff needs to think about so the Oscars has. No, like the Golden Globes has drama and comedy separated. Mm-hmm. And then the Oscars has like animated Best Picture.
You still have Best Picture. You still have Best Picture.
Yeah.
You can only have one Best winner. It's complicated, but I think it's just you got to just take it for what it is. Like exactly how I take the Oscars for what it is, a load of crap most of the time. Mm-hmm. Right? It is. What's popular? It's this one. It's.
Or in this particular case, which one is the one that I like?
Yeah.
Which one is the genre that I want to see not die off and want to continue to push into the spotlight? But anyway, I'm seeing people say Kojima's game with Xbox, that'll win, mate. I'll tell you now, the love for Kojima that Jeff has won't even override that. That's probably what will get nominated, Kojima's game. Still won't be an Xbox game winning. I'm quite confident. I'm quite confident you won't see an Xbox, at least not Jeff's Game Awards. You'll see Xbox games win Game of the Year on other publications like GameSpot or IGN or whatever. I just don't believe Jeff will ever have an Xbox game winning Game of the Year. Now, the reason for that, I'm not going to put myself in any more hot water than I already have. I'm sure most of you can figure out why an Xbox game will more than likely not win Game of the Year on Jeff's awards.
Yeah.
It's, there's a reason for it. There is a reason. But I'm not going to get myself in any more trouble.
Only if you're sure.
Even then, no. Even if I was 110% sure and had the proof that I could show everyone, I still wouldn't say it. Because I'm not going to get myself in trouble. Nominated, yes. Win, no. No. I don't believe that'll ever happen. Not on Jeff's awards, no. Okay. Nodorius. Hi there, XboxEra team. Your colleagues over at Kinda Funny Xcast podcast had an discussion about Halo needing to have a Battle Royale mode. Do you agree with them that Halo needs to come out with such a mode? And if so, how would it differentiate itself from the others? Keep up the great job with all the great content. Now, Nodorius, I'm disappointed in you, friend, because you have given yourself away as someone that only must have recently just started watching our podcast, because we have mentioned Halo Battle Royale a long time ago and have talked about it a couple of times. Six says no. I say I think at some point down the road they will do a Battle Royale. Because it just the framework is there. It's there. Like
I think
I don't
no.
know.
And the reason why I think no is that I think that they'll let Forge do it, and I think they'll have the community make it because they'll have the tools in order to do that.
So there's
the
two
ODSTs drop in
on this,
and
they could do their own. I think they need to do their own thing now. Don't like I said before. Don't chase what's already out there. Make the next new thing.
But it's just a multiplayer mode, though. They're not making an independent Halo Battle Royale game. It's just going to be another mode within multiplayer. That's it.
Yeah, but why would you be the thing that people copy? Don't be the thing that you're copying other people. Like it's not necessary for the. Obviously, it works, and they may still do it, but I don't think that is. If you're Halo is known to change multiplayer. They're supposed to be the ones that define what multiplayer gaming is, especially for shooters. They did that with Halo 2 and then Halo 3. Then obviously they kind of went down and started chasing other people. But when they chased other people, that's when Halo wasn't as the golden standard anymore. So in my opinion, do your own thing and make it great. And sure, they can have a mode for it, but like you don't want to be known just like, oh, well, you playing Halo Battle Royale. Like, no, like they tried something with Warzone. Do something bigger, do something better. That's how I would look at it, and look at it where people aren't saying you have Battle Royale, and look at it like everybody else is going to copy you, because then especially with free to play, you don't want to be just another one of those modes, because you already have competition there. You want to branch yourself out, and then you can get all those people who are already playing battle royale modes, and you can get them into this new thing. And that's a smarter play than just doing what everybody else does. You don't have to take risks. I would rather them take risks than just copy everybody just because it's easy.
But
they already tried Warzone, and Warzone. And now that the multiplayer is going to be free to play anyway, and all the battle royales are free to play, basically, like, I don't know.
But then you're competing with them. That's what I'm saying. You're competing with them now, because now you have that mode. But if you don't have that special thing, and you focus on that mode, then you're just like, okay, it's people who like Apex Legends versus PUBG. Like, they're not going to. Okay, I'll say it like this: people who play Sea of Thieves. You're going to play Sea of Thieves. Nobody else is making another Sea of Thieves right now. But if they do, it's like, but people who would make, let's say Skull and Bones, they're going to be looking at Sea of Thieves and copying certain things that Sea of Thieves is doing, because it's the one that branched out and did something unique. Well, it's something about gaming. You have to do unique stuff.
I've got some thoughts on this. So do I care if Halo has a Battle Royale mode? No. Do I think it will
I don't necessarily
eventually? Yes. Do I think it will be developer-led, as opposed to your suggestion there about get the Forge community to make it? If the Forge tool is good enough, cool. If that could be a possibility, but it doesn't matter how great the tool is, you're never going to get to a world that is going to be as good as a developer-led, built for it. If their new engine, the Slipstream engine, and everything that they've done is to drive towards that goal, I don't think copying Battle Royale is necessarily the problem. It's how can you do it better than everyone else? Then you're having the conversation. But Halo lived and breathes on its competitive multiplayer, right? So we've got to have your standard Slayers, CTFs, etc. You've got to have big team battle. But then if it's just that, I would say to you, okay, you might please old grumpy Halo fans 1 to 1,000, but there are hundreds of thousands of people out there that love the gameplay style of Battle Royale, and if Halo wants to be the game that everyone plays again, I think they should probably take that risk. The concern that the old grumpy Halo fans like me have is that it then becomes the predominant focus of a Halo game. And then I miss out on what I love. It's a difficult balancing act. So, whether they do or they don't, I mean, they've publicly said the only BR we have is a battle rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's changed, it's been a couple of years since that quote was ad-libbed. I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I would be... every Halo release, if you think about it, has always had a big new game mode. Like with Halo 4, I think they had whatever it was, elimination or whatever the COD style bullshit was. Halo 5, they had Warzone and Warzone Firefight and things like that.
Not just Warzone, they also had that other one.
Reach had Invasion.
No. What other one did Halo 5 had? It had Warzone, and it had that other one in those
it had
Tron-like arenas.
It was called Breakout. Yes.
Yeah, Breakout.
So
Breakout.
every Halo has had
Counter-Strike,
a
basically.
big, we're going to do a new game mode. The argument is, yes, it's the most popular thing in the world right now, Battle Royales. It makes tons of money. Halo is a huge IP. What level of customization can we look forward to? They've talked a little bit about armor coatings. What else is there that we're going to be able to customize? We don't truly know yet, and I think
it all fits though.
It fits.
I've said
right?
it for years.
ODSTs dropping down in the jet pods. It just makes sense. I don't know though.
They already do big. I would argue that Big Team Battle is like the original Battle Royale almost.
Yeah.
Because remember, in Big Team Battle, you could have 4 teams of 2, or like squads in Fortnite. It was already there in Halo from Halo 1.
Yeah.
On a much smaller scale. So Battle Royale has fit Halo for years from day one. It just seemed crazy to me that it wasn't there earlier. And the ODSTs just made it a no-brainer. You have these guys that aren't super soldiers. They all just drop in their little pods, and they have to find some shield to get themselves shield because they don't have a shield. And, all that sort of thing.
Yeah. But
I'll just be more, just personally, I'll just be more excited. Sure, they could have a BR mode, but that I'm more excited for something new from Halo, especially when it has so much expectations on it right now. It's very high expectations. And the only way you can actually exceed somebody's expectations is if you do something that you haven't seen before. Let's say they do a battle royale. It will make a lot of money. It will do all the things that you're talking about, and obviously they'll have all their own modes. But if they only did that, that would be boring. In a sense, that would be boring for a Halo that is supposed to be the big thing or whatever. It'll just be oh, they added battle royale like we all expected them to do because it's a perfect fit. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a balancing act, right? Between what makes monetary sense, what the fans would want, and Halo fans are terrible, terrible people.
Yeah,
I'm one of them.
As long as SWAT's there, SWAT's the best anyway.
But yeah, I love SWAT. I can't wait to see the game again. It'll be fun.
SWAT's the best.
Yeah. I played SWAT yesterday on Xbox. I was doing horrible.
Yeah, I've been playing SWAT in Halo 5 as well.
I did. I got an achievement for fighting a 343 and killing a 343 employee. I think they killed me so many more times though, but I did get an achievement for that.
Nice.
Yesterday on xCloud, I was like, yeah, take that.
Is that Master Chief Collection or Halo 5?
Yeah. Master Chief Collection.
Oh, okay. All right. 2 more questions.
Yeah.
Proven. Hello, fellow Xbox. So, it seems like Game Pass is at around 23 million subs. Yeah, close enough. A lot of people assume by the end of the year, the service will be at around 30-ish million due to organic growth as well as Halo, Starfield, and other day one games. Am I crazy to think they could get to 40 million by the end of the year? 17 million subs in roughly 7 months sounds ambitious, but if we assume they will get 1 million plus subs a month without any major games, adding 10 million extra subs on the backs of multiple highly anticipated AAA, it's got here 4 A's, I don't think he meant quadruple A, probably AAA games, doesn't seem absurd to me. What do you think? Yeah, we've been having this discussion. Look, I believe. Now, I ran this past my guy. This isn't rumor mill. I asked my guy if I could say this, and he said yes. So, based on the games I am aware of that they are currently negotiating to get into Game Pass day one, third-party games, based on the games I'm aware of, if they were to get all these games that they're trying to get, I don't think 35 to 40 is out of the question. Wow. So when you combine the first-party stuff that's coming, big stuff like Halo and Starfield and whatever, and you combine that with the third-party stuff that I'm aware of they're trying to get, I don't think 35 to 40 is out of the question, myself. But that's just me.
John, you want to go, or you want me to go?
I would only say that I would probably agree with Nick on this one. I think if they pull off every deal they've got, outside of just what Halo and Starfield will drive, they're going to be skyrocketing those numbers. I will say though that some of that I think is going to be dependent on the ability to actually manufacture more Series S and X consoles as well, because I feel like the predominant people subscribing are going to be those hardcore gamers.
Yeah, so my prediction at the beginning of the year was 35 million. I think that would be over 35 million, and it was based off of the assumption, and luckily I assumed that they were going to try to fix PC stuff, which it seems that they are going to do at the end of the year, based off of Zach Bowden's reporting, which I really trust. Zach Bowden's a really, really good guy. And basically some of the streaming stuff, and then obviously the first party. So the streaming stuff isn't so much like us hardcore gamers and consoles. It's more like South Korea and playing games that they haven't been able to play yet. So I look at those markets for some of the growth. I'm not saying in the millions, but a lot of growth there. But then I look at PC. PC is a very, very big opportunity for them. And with the release of Age of Empires 4, that game is going to be very, very important for them, and it could be really big. If it is as good as people want it to be in AoE 2, it can drive millions of subscribers. And then obviously we have the big one with Halo. And Halo, obviously on console, it being on Xbox One, like, I know, Nick, you wanted to drop the Xbox One.
Yeah, I know.
But if they're going to get to 35 to 45, 40 million, they have to keep that. And obviously that they are. But the biggest thing is that being on PC.
Yeah.
The first one since, obviously, you have Halo MCC, but the first one to launch since Halo 2 on Vista.
Yes.
So that's going to be, it's going to be going up. And remember, it has the free to play, obviously. So they're going to be bringing a lot of people in. I personally think that they will be putting something with Game Pass for that free to play, like some type of connection. It has to be some type of connection with Game Pass and Halo Infinite for multiplayer. It just makes too much sense.
Yeah, I reckon they'll put an ultimate perk in that will give you some seriously cool stuff to get people like, oh, I need it for my Halos. Lord knows, when Halo 5 dropped, I spent a fair amount on rec packs and then realised I was an idiot and stopped completely.
It's
more. Is it Mortain? Mortain's asking. You think they are trying insane things like FIFA, Shpeshal Ed? I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe.
But I mean, if you look at the Ubisoft stuff, like, that's huge. Just like EA Play.
Yeah.
Like those type of things are huge. Third parties. Like, I started playing Madden again. Like, I wasn't playing Madden for years because it was just upgrade every single year. Is just a roster update. Right. And so, like, those type of things will get people little by little, because they're saving money, and Microsoft is going to be putting up money. But I would say, outside of all this, if they get to 40 million, you know how much money Microsoft is going to invest into gaming? Like, it would be ridiculous, because that means you went from the end of 1 year at 10 million, and then you gained 30 million within a 2-year span. Like, that They were like, "Oh, let's give you more money. Discord, come back. Like everybody, shut up. Give us more money. Like money. Come back here." And it'll 40 million is a ridiculous number, even though 35 is still ridiculous. But I do think it's attainable.
Yeah,
I do think
I'm seeing a lot of people mention different games. That look, Mort, I can't name games. That's why I asked, can I say this? And all I could say was that based on the games I know they're currently negotiating, I think that they're a chance to hit big Game Pass numbers. Like, if Outriders and MLB gave them a decent enough boost to hit low 20s, the stuff that's coming should. Like, the stuff they're negotiating is bigger than Outriders and MLB.
Yeah.
Like MLB, as I said when we had MVG on, MLB was big from a console war perspective. Oh my God, Sony exclusive, Sony made game on Game Pass, ha 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 ha. But MLB is not big. Like, as far as I know, it's not a massive selling game. Like,
it sells pretty good.
I'm not saying it doesn't sell at all, but it's not like what?
This is important. Lamb Tramp, I trust sick. Can I have a cigarette? No, they're bad for you.
No, don't have cigarettes. No. Cigarettes are bad. Yeah, they're gross. That's a disgusting habit.
Sorry, Lamb Tramp, you can't. Put them down. Sorry.
But yeah.
I've totally thrown your train of thought, haven't I?
It was like the 12th biggest game last year. Was it? I saw plenty of Sony fans on Reset themselves saying, "Oh, MLB's not even a big seller," or was that just them being upset because it was coming to Game Pass?
Take a guess.
I was never under the impression that MLB was a massive selling game.
It's pretty big in the US, but understandable.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, obviously, it's not on the level of FIFA and Madden and 2K and all that sort of stuff, obviously. Which is probably why MLB wanted it on Xbox.
Yeah.
So it could try and get to that level. Yeah. But I cannot name names. I can't say the games that I'm aware of. I just believe that they can hit big numbers if they get all those games. But yeah, I'll settle on 35. That's where I'll settle. 35. Okay, last question.
Wow.
Man, we made it.
And man, this question's this is a loaded question, and I don't know if I want to answer it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I'm too honest for my own good, so I don't like answering questions like this. What's a game from the past few years that you think is the most underrated / overrated, and why?
That's from Not Jack.
Not Jack. That's a loaded question. I'm a bad person to ask questions like that too.
Underrated or overrated? Oh, God.
Underrated's easy, but it says past few years because I want to say Alan Wake because Alan Wake's like one of the most underrated games of all time. From the past few years. God, I don't know. How far back is past few? Like last 3 or 4?
Past few, 3-ish. Let's say 3. Give ourselves a cap.
God, I don't...
Past 3 years? Jeez.
I don't play enough different stuff.
Underrated.
Yeah, underrated. When did Recall come out?
2016.
Crackdown 3.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say
Crackdown 3 is
underrated.
underrated.
Oh, yeah. Yes, yeah.
Crackdown 3 is underrated. And you can all get stuffed. Crackdown 3 is great.
CD3.
Crackdown 3 is a great game.
I'm going to break my own 3-year rule. Underrated? I think Halo 5. I think Halo 5's multiplayer.
But underrated by who? It's an 85 on Metacritic.
General consensus.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
It's a really hard question.
Before we go too deep, King 2002, I think another big part of them reaching 35 to 40 million subs is actual marketing of Game Pass to casuals. Majority of subs now are hardcore gamers. I can speak to that. So one of the local shopping centres that I frequent here, they have those. You know how there's those. Again, I can only speak for Australia because I assume the UK and the US would have this sort of stuff. In the shopping centres, they have those portrait LCD screens that they just run ads on.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that? You must.
Yeah.
And I've seen like Game Pass ads on those screens, and they are in full-on massive shopping centres that thousands of people are walking past constantly. Like, I reckon they're starting. The only place I haven't really seen Game Pass ads is TV.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
that's
but
the only place
watch
I
much TV.
Game Pass ads.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't really watch TV, so I never see adverts really.
Yeah.
It's an odd one. I kept seeing PlayStation 5 being advertised on the XboxEra forums via Argos, which made me chuckle.
Okay. But back to the question. Underrated for mine is Crackdown. Crackdown got shit on for its graphics, but that game plays great, still fun. And who the hell cares about story and Crackdown?
I agree with that Crackdown 3. I mean, like, you already know, like, I love Crackdown.
Crackdown 3.
I play that game so much. It's just fun. It's just fun.
So it was so good. I hope that gets an FPS boost to 60.
Oh yeah.
That'd be so good. Overrated? Oh boy.
So many.
You're gonna upset some fanboys now. Be careful.
Okay. So let me preface this. I'm going to list big name games I haven't played. So I'm not going to I can't say Red Dead Redemption 2 is overrated because I haven't played it. I can't say a Mass Effect game is overrated because I haven't played it. What other big name games? There's plenty of big name games I haven't played. Of the ones I have, overrated. Probably Spider-Man. Not that it's hugely overrated. Like, God of War had its flaws, but it's still my game of the year 2018, despite its flaws.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, to me, just got way too repetitive in a way that Sunset Overdrive didn't. Like, yeah, I don't know. And I hate using the word repetitive with video games because technically every video game is repetitive.
Yeah.
Technically.
It's the game loop.
Yeah. It's just some games hide it better than others. Some games disguise that repetitiveness in a better way than others. And I just think that with Spider-Man, it wasn't as well hidden as it was in, say, Sunset or other games of that nature. So for me, again, only based on games I've actually played in the last few years, probably Spider-Man. And again, still loved it. Still a great game, but I have to pick something.
I've got one. Hollow Knight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe I should change mine to that.
What are people smoking? Oh, it's the best game in the genre. I was so bored.
Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight was so boring.
If your answer to me when I tell you I was so bored by a game is, you've got to keep playing until you get to this point, then it gets really good. Bro, I played for like 4 hours solid, and I was like,
I couldn't last 4 hours. I couldn't last that long. Hollow Knight.
Overrated. I just don't.
No map and just.
Yeah, it was just not fun.
Well, the map was just, and every level looked the same, and just. I don't know. I bought it on Switch. I'm like, oh man, everyone's going on about Hollow Knight. Let's play Hollow Knight. And I'm like, what is this game?
Yeah,
I didn't enjoy it at all.
What was? Oh gosh,
I've just seen a disgusting quote, a disgusting comment, and I'm going to call it out. Sarah Smith, It Takes Two is not overrated. It is a gem.
Where's this?
It's in the chat. It Takes Two is overrated. I can't agree with your jive here. That's not true, Sarah Smith. It Takes Two is going to be. I don't see a way it can't be at the top of my games of the year list this year. Like,
trying to find this comment. I can't find it.
It's just under King's super chat.
Yeah.
I loved It Takes Two. I would agree with you that the story is a bit, and if people have been through divorce, which I have in the past, can perhaps say, divorce isn't necessarily bad. Like, why are you framing it as such? That's not the point of the story. The point of the story is about people that do love each other. They've just forgotten how to love each other, and it's kind of sweet. But people took really offensive that divorce was used as a story mechanism, but it's funny. The gameplay is unique. It doesn't outstay its welcome. It was a blast. I can't fault that game. It's an easy game of the year for me. That was just brilliant. Sorry, had to say that because, I have an opinion.
Yeah, I think, I like the Hollow Knight shout.
I had to jump in.
You're fine.
You were going to say what your overrated was.
Oh, no, I was agreeing with you with Hollow Knight because I played that game and I love 2D platformers is like probably my favorite genre.
Metroidvania is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so like playing that game, it just felt hollow. Basically, like I just didn't feel anything when I was playing the game or whatever. No discredit to the developer. They probably did a lot of work on it, but there were just some things that I personally just didn't. It just didn't vibe with me. I just felt like, okay, I'm going down here, I'm doing this. I didn't feel like, why should I keep continuing? Like there was no drive.
Felt no drive.
There was no hook for me.
Yeah.
There was no the beauty of the Metroidvania is the good ones know how to keep you along and here's this upgrade and here's this upgrade and I just felt like Hollow Knight didn't do a good job of that at all for me. And the problem was, I reckon if I had played Hollow Knight before, stuff like Ori, before stuff like Shadow Complex, before other Metroidvanias, then I may have enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
But like Shadow Complex and Ori are two of the best Metroidvanias I've ever played. So to be better than those, you have to be perfection. And it just... Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I couldn't get on board with Hollow Knight. It just sits on my Switch, never getting played. But I bought it, so they got their money, which is good.
Yeah.
I think we've now... Two things. We've finished all of our questions, which is great.
Yes.
We've also broken the record.
Yeah.
Because of the power cut for the longest ever XboxEra podcast. It's 1:30 in the morning. I heard my wife knocking tentatively on my door a little bit.
My wife already messaged me.
You might have seen me go, I can't talk right now, honey. So I think we're going to wrap it up. So thank you all of us for dealing with, hanging out with us, putting up with some technical issues that we had there. Fun times. First ever, but it happens. I look forward to trying to stitch this together.
Man, that's going to be full on. And I actually, you know what? I don't think the video will be that hard. It's the audio.
Yes, the audio is going to be difficult.
That's going to kill you.
Well, I'll cheat and just tell you I've used the Audacity files, and I won't. The power. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see what I can work. I can see what I can work out. We'll figure it out, guys. Don't worry. But to everybody watching, thank you very much for hanging out with us this evening. It's, as always, been an absolute blast.
Hold on. Karis is like jumping in, saying another Karis question. Nick, I would like to ask you. Oh, and Rand has gone with
keeping me up 1:30
Snuck in a super chat. Okay. Rand, do you agree with Days Gone guy that said you need to buy at full price, and if you don't, then you can't complain if no sequel happens? No. I don't agree with that.
No, for the simple reason, I'll answer this question first, because he said you have to, if you believe in it, you have to buy it at full price. Or if you love it, you should buy it at full price. How can you love something if you haven't experienced it yet?
Yeah.
You can't, if you haven't experienced it, I'm not buying, like I can buy Halo because I have an expectation because I've experienced Halo before. If the first time I'm buying is your inaugural game or whatever, I can't, I'm not going to, I have to trust you. Yeah. So, it's my money. So no,
that sentence almost reads as, if you buy into our marketing and hype campaign, you have to pay full price. Well,
or if you let Metacritic tell you what is good. But no, and that's another great thing Game Pass does. It lets me see if I do love that game.
Yep.
Fun fact, both Outriders and MLB have spent time at the top of Xbox most top paid games, despite launching into Game Pass.
Shock
Because guess what, people? You can still buy games that are on Game Pass. Like,
yeah,
this is what I mean. Like, Game Pass is a legit paradigm shift. Like, it on Xbox at least, it borderline renders. I've got to be careful how I word this because we do reviews on our website. But like, Game Pass lessens the need to make your decision to purchase a game solely rely on reviews.
Yeah, reviews can give you a flavour if you want to click download. They can give you a flavour if you want to enjoy it. You know, you can see what your favourite critic thought about what they've played. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you're launching into Game Pass and you don't have to put any money down, what do you need to read a review for? Go find out.
You give it a go, and if you like it, wait for a sale and buy it.
Yeah, or get 20%.
Although Game Pass gives you the discount anyway, yeah.
Oh god, people are throwing money at us.
Oh gosh.
No one wants me to sleep.
Oh gosh.
me and Zedox like, sorry, honey.
So I gotta go. I have to help with the kids.
So Lamb Tramp, what is the best marinade for prawns? Garlic. Garlic prawns is super nice. Jesse Norris, Nick, take my money, you sexy SOB. Lamb Tramp, keep talking for 5 minutes, Nick. I can keep talking. It's only 10:30 in the morning here. I can keep talking for ages.
Yeah, he's perked right up. I'm flagging, and Zedox is rapidly by the minute getting more and more in trouble right now.
Yes.
I could keep going for hours. I've just got to learn to watch what I say. Like, see, what I was originally going to say about Game Pass and reviews was way harsher and way worse than what I ended up saying. So I'm learning to watch what I say. But I'm sure something will come out of this podcast that I didn't think of that I'll get in trouble for.
I need to save Zedox's life right now. So, and I need to get some sleep. So I'm calling it. Love you all, but we're going to stop because otherwise we'll never get away. You know,
we should have said this earlier, but please like, subscribe. Please follow us on all our socials, everyone. Our Twitter handles are there. There's the XboxEra Twitter handle.
Yeah.
Check out our articles on our website, XboxEra.com.
All of that stuff. It's been a blast hanging out with everyone this evening.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Thanks for having
to
me on the
Zedox
podcast,
for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Chris. You're probably not going to see this episode for a while, though, folks.
I'll get it done by Monday, I promise. Much love, everybody.
Okay. Ciao for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.